Okay, but at least we are alive.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing.
He wants to steal.
Back with us, I see.
Let's steal the Warrant. I wonder if Adolfred is even still alive. Logweir, you two-faced scum! You are the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you
help us,
next
though.
insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself.
Ah, he has such a nice mad voice. Chaos cultist. Yeah, seems like it.
We are in the anteroom of the Warrant Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Thanks so much, Rafa. And enjoy your game. Curious that his blood doesn't work. Because, I mean, he's still of the same bloodline. Ha! What is it, inbred? Is your blood too thin for the Sentinel?
On the contrary, the Lord's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Fon Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for?
Touched by the warp, maddened by the chaos. Oh gosh. Interesting that everyone with just like the right blood can get to the Warrant. What sorry, pathetic excuse do you even have for your apostasy, you sordid, wretched piece of grog shit? Ah, I like it. Swearing.
Wretched? What do you know about wretchedness? Theodora's cur. Are you hoping to buy a grain of her indulgence with your blind loyalty? Oh, I know this delusion. But thank the gods it no longer has power over me. Humanity can rot. I no longer serve mortal kind.
Probably the Chaos Gods, right? To what end? What do you even achieve by serving them? What's your vision? Something, either your tone or the venomous words, throws Conrad off for a moment. Its hateful fury blazes from beneath the mask of a cold professional.
Once my work is done, I'll make that pompous wench Fon Valencius watch as I sacrifice her entire dynasty and commit their fate to the gods. And you will be the instrument by which I will accomplish this righteous act.
Yeah, truly righteous. Or if he hesitates for a second, then produces a strange weapon. A blade without a handle that shimmers blue in the light. I do wonder, we got told that Conrad at one point disappointed Theodora. So I'm wondering if that was already like the beginning of this chaos madness. The blade flashes in the dim light and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment, you feel nauseous, your head spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge. Go to the gates. Go to the gates. Go to the gates. Demonhood, the ultimate prize, is ascension to a creature of the warp, immortal and very powerful. Ah, power corrupts. And Edward tries to fight the voice in his head. Get out! I'm not your puppet! The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel the intruding influence forcing you onto your feet and make you take a step toward the gates looming in the center of the chamber. Oh gosh, are we getting possessed? So far I love this game. In the gateway arc, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton created from a lobotomized human being. Ah, there's the explanation. Sentinel turns its head to you, one of its eye sockets lighting up with two amber-like irises. Gosh. I really hope they can't feel, or really hope they're not really conscious. Agitator. Ah yeah, true, I know that. It's a computer. Unfortunately, if you actually make it, ascending to demonhood and become a demon prince of the respective god. Ooh. Okay, let's do our first, true skill check, I guess. Is it on the device? Yes! Carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are unfamiliar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic. Sorry, sometimes I have to read the word before to see how to pronounce it. Archaeotech, an incredibly rare and powerful piece of technology from humanity's ancient past. Archaeotech is often recovered in the frontier regions of the galaxy, while the Adeptus Mechanicus is particularly interested in the recovery of such ancient technology, considers all such devices sacred artifacts. Some Archaeotech can also be considered forbidden and even heretical. True, near 40,000, there's lots of tech to recover. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching, groaning of metal, it leans forward, closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek, much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp, metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. Probably a little bit like this one down here. Gosh, I think it has to taste our blood. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Volkvieth wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coils itself into tight knots somewhere in the depths of your mind. I think we are corrupted, and I hope it goes away. Edward examines the Sentinel. The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper threads, and it has metal hinges in place of the standard joints. It seems that the creator of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automatons. What a cruel fate, and also what a cool description. Edward looks back at Conrad and the others.
Did you forget something? I suggest you hurry.
I mean, if we weren't corrupted, we could just, I don't know, not do it. And Edward looks for anything that could be used as a weapon. You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty and in perfect working condition. Nary a broken panel or protruding piece of rebar in sight. I think we have to. Edward places his hand into the Sentinel once more. The Sentinel's jaw clamber around your hand, puncturing your skin and sinking into your flesh. few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vid screen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes passes. Sentinel's jaws remain closed, and you are beginning to feel sick. Perhaps, if you were to lean against the gate, you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humus. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
Interesting. Is it like allowed? Is it the servitor? Anyone else hear that? You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the Sentinel? The cogitator? The figment of your very mind? Whichever it is, you can clearly hear every word. Who is this? Pain shoots through your head, subsides just as quickly. It will seem the entity called in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted.
Oh, I think
Initiating defense protocol.
Oh, I think I clicked on the wrong one, sorry. Clicked on the help me. Cool, so we get some help. We could still make it out alive.
Well, there is still another way.
Ah, cowards. Nice. Yeah, that was effective. And I mean, it also makes like lots of sense that there is a defense mechanism. The enormous gates match the importance of the thing they protect. The massive doors are made of heavy metal and look impregnable. Wow, now we are in the Warrant Chamber. I guess like a place very, very few people ever enter. And that's the Warrant of Trade. Wow, it's huge. And so long. I wonder how deep it goes. Let's have a read. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I want this person to be the bearer of the Warrant of Trade, to be the paragon of humanity, unbroken by adversity, to walk bravely first into darkness, triumph over nightmares untold, to hold boldly the reins of fate, to walk steadily in the road of thorns. Was a little fast.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
Signed by the Emperor himself. Oh really? Nice. The sound of skulls creaking readily turns into comprehensible words. Interesting. Quite lucky that it's going to help us. What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by.
So I think it can't really answer too much. Are you the Warrant Sentinel?
Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
I need to contact someone. Preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
See if we can somehow call for help or something. And I guess like the Sentinel probably is like the whole mechanism combined? That's not voiced. In place of the mechanical screeching, the Silver Skull's Vox projects the voice of Theodora von Valancius, distorted and ridden with static, yet still recognizable beyond a doubt. Voxmaster, restore the communication with the Navigator Sanctum. I'm trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
Very curious. That one was not voiced. Yeah, I guess Conrad just cut completely like the box communication. Smart bastard. I need a weapon. I'm utterly defenseless.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
Pasqal goes silent, relays clicking. Second after second passes, and you realize the Pasqal will not answer you. Just lead me away from here.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
It makes sense that we have to seal it again. I mean, that's the interesting thing. I mean, I just wanted to say the interesting thing is that I could just take it. On the other hand, I mean, it's not like you take a piece of paper. And I guess then again that the Sentinel would protect it if we try to steal it.
Let us not dawdle.
I really like the design of it. That glowing stuff. Fight selflessly and lower not your bloody arms till the last foe of humankind is slain.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
I guess let's go look for an exit. I know. We need to seal the chamber first.
Master? Whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me, what is the meaning of this?
Seneschal Abelard, Osirian, saw some of his former polish. His forehead is sweating, and one of the sleeves of his coat is torn and soaked through with blood. Nonetheless, despite his heavy breathing, he stands firm, and his gaze is demanding, albeit somewhat surprised. He surveys the carnage around him, his brow furrows. He places a hand on his weapon. Throne. Golden Throne of Terror. An arcane cybernetic artifact that encases the God Emperor's physical remains entire, preserves them using stasis fields and psi-fusion reactors. Though he can no longer lead his armies to battle himself, the Emperor still protects his people, watching over and guiding humanity from his golden throne on Terra. It's basically immortality. I know, even though the game didn't say so far, that like there are, I think like several, like 100 or something Psykers who have to give their life force every day to keep him alive or something like that. I don't know. Quite insane. Conrad Vogt as a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somewhat and brought me here.
What?
Senechal's eyes widen. He intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to read the warrant was somewhat part of that plan.
Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
I wonder then, I mean, in the beginning, if the servitors are connected to that, did they attack him too? Was it just to keep up the illusion? The Emperor is basically dead. It's a life support system. 1,000 have to be sacrificed to keep him alive every day, but the throne is failing, so it now requires around 2,000 to 5,000 a day in reality. Gosh, so many lives. Just to keep the Emperor alive. Ah, church. Abelard clutches his forehead. He looks lost for the briefest of moments, then quickly finds his resolve again. Otbeer openly admitted that he's the mastermind behind the mutiny, so yeah.
Saints' blood! Then it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Master. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster.
Nope.
You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
Abelard examines you critically. Yeah, that's the whole wound thing. So, let's go and equip some stuff. Sword is nice. It is kinda interesting that in a distant future setting, you're still fighting with swords. Like, I don't know, guns always our win? The problem is, if the Emperor dies, the Imperium collapses, he controls the Astronomicon and guides the ship through the warp, meaning all travel would cease if he dies. Ah. Well, and so far, looking at how the church is going, I guess probably most of the Psykers even willingly give their lives. Okay, let's try out the medikit and let's see if we have more luck than I had back in early access.
Let's patch you up. That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead.
Abelard nods in satisfaction.
The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on.
Really sound too good.
But that is not the worst of it. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the Navigator and the Master Helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the Navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
Yeah, because I mean, as far as I understood it, you can't get out of the warp without the Navigator, so if they kill them, that's it for us. Melee combat is seen as incredibly honorable, and there's armor and shield systems to allow close combat. Ah, okay. Yeah, who needs honorable? Be a sneaky one. Backstabbing. Or back shooting. So, what exactly has gone wrong with the translation?
I am no helmsman. Oh, God Emperor preserve me, Navigator. However, I have spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and I know that portents such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Gellerfield has faltered. Perhaps the Navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, then it's game over. Yeah, because the game doesn't explain that so far, but I mean, heavily implicated. The Gellerfield is basically just the protection against the corruption and the chaotic forces of the world.
If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the war. Naturally, we would likely not have long to live in that scenario. But I will not resign myself to such an outcome just yet.
You know, not that I complain, but how did you find me?
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Voxcast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
Was the Sentinel. Curious that it goes to the length to write in our name. Abelard tilts his head and looks at you with worry. I think the Warrant Sentinel may have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warrant Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. But I did not see anything of the sort.
That is very curious. I do wonder why. Because there was never a threat? I don't know.
The Warrant Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
Frowns. Because, I mean, the other explanation would be that she's not of the Bon Valencia's blood. I mean, that kinda can't be, can it? Tech priests, more law. The rulers of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They revere technology as the object of their devotion. They direct the endeavors of fabrication and lead the followers of the machine gods in unforgiving crusades of ruthless acquisition. Guys in the red robes you see all around the ship. I heard one of Theodora's voxcasts.
Lady Theodora's. Which one? The last one I received was about the Navigator's sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well, and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course.
What can we expect to find in the Navigator's sanctum?
During warp transit, the sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in traversing the Imperium. And for good reason. For the Navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the sanctum must be bathed in the energies of the immaterial. Only a Navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death.
Abelard does not bat an eye as he lists all the horrors that you are about to face. Yeah, I think living in the Warhammer universe, it loses the threat. If everything has a threat, is a threat. The Navigators... I know that usually I'm more for heretical characters. Dragon Age. But at least Edward is noble and quite faithful, so... For the Imperium and humanity, lead the way, Seneschal.
Come.
Abelard nods his approval. So interesting that we're on first name basis. A wave of static suddenly erupts from the server skull, and you can make out Theodora's words through the noise. To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor. Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared.
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
I'm so confused that even in like scenes which are mainly voiced, Theodora isn't voiced. Was that for you too, Alistair? Or was that a bug? Seneschal's eyes light up, and he smiles with grim determination.
Your demise is already calculated.
Yeah, if you're not ambushed, you can actually freely choose where you want to start. Begin. Going to go... Abelard is like melee based, and we are not, so we don't really have any... we can take cover here. Quite a few enemies. So many cultists. Yeah, the gameplay combat system of Warhammer is unlike anything I know. So you have movement points, you have action points, but once you use your weapon, you can't do anything anymore, usually. So...
At your beck and call.
For example, the charge is nice because it basically gives you an additional attack but also removes the ability to move. I'm wondering like how to attack as many people as possible. Because with that I can attack 2, but I think I can't rush anywhere and then attack 2 more. Just go for the standard
Victory is reduced to dust.
Nice. Oh, I can still use that. Interesting. Weird. I think back in the demo that wasn't possible. I take it. Come on.
I will do my duty.
Not down, but hurt. Okay, 0 damage is also acceptable.
Brace yourself, Abelard. I took care of this one.
Nice, just 1 damage so far, and Edward is very slow. You serve me. I think we have to get a little bit
Taking
closer.
calculated risk is my second nature.
You should have
I'll
quite some
make it
nice
happen.
stats. And yeah, I gotta say, at least on beta, I really didn't use the spread shots, or like in this case, pistol burst that much. As you can see, the chance to actually hit is so low. Usually, you just go for those, and we still have very low chance to hit. Come on.
I'll see to it. Another enemy down.
Right. Here we go.
Indeed. Reduced to dust.
Can't use the charge because we have to charge at least 2 squares. Oh. Nope. Edward won't be a great gunman.
I took care of this one.
Yeah, we got our fast level up.
Fate and fortune favor the bold.
Right. And see, 2 old injuries. Abelard didn't succeed with the medikit.
We are the
Always
spearhead
like
of the
that.
Imperium.
Oh,
This wound will make a fine scar.
I won't forget this.
see? It doesn't work. I mean, just 40% chance to work. Oh boy.
Miscalculations are for commoners.
I'm just going to go with
I don't
our
make mistakes.
first-
I make profitable learning experiences.
Excuse me, I want to talk. I'm just going to go with our archetypes. I can choose a skill, and playing a bard, an officer. I think I would just go for more persuasion. Coercion can also be nice. Let's go for persuasion. Oh, that's it. Very easy level up. Doesn't really make combat nicer. But out of combat checks. Cruise or athletics? Let's go for cruise. Okay, let's look for Lady Theodora.
Is there money to be made?
Ooh, and of course don't forget to loot. Defeated enemies have no further need for their former belongings, but you can discover valuable trophies among them. Click LMB, left mouse button, on a defeated enemy to inspect what is left of them. Items on the right side of the trophy collection window go to your inventory, such as items that can be used or equipped by your characters. Items on the left are packed up as cargo and sent to your ship. What ship? Which can later be used to trade with various factions. You can move trophies from one side of the window to the other by double-clicking left mouse button on them or by dragging blah 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 blah. We'll figure it out. I don't think I need all the souls, especially with just 2 characters so far. But
Your Seneschal is always there for you.
let's see if I can give Abelard also a laser pistol. Because I mean the option to go ranged.
Let's not
It's
waste
nice.
time with pleasantries.
Navigator's Sanctum.